right, guys, if you would please grab out your worksheet that looks kind of like this, where it needs to be turned over to landscape of solving equations with models, a balancing act. Okay, so here we go. Directions: fill in all boxes and columns and show your work. Okay, so I have the equation, so write the equation to match the model. So this is my example here. 3x plus 4 is equal to 13. I have my scale. On one side of my scale, I have 3x plus 4 ones is equal to 13 ones. Okay. What would be your first step and why? Well, my first step would be to cross out 4 ones on both sides. Okay. And the reason for this is my goal is to get x by itself. Okay, so I'm going to cross off 4 coins on both sides. And then what would your next step be? So my second step would be to divide by 3 on both sides. Okay, and this is to make 3 equal groups. Okay. All right, so let's solve this algebraically. Let's do what we said on the steps and what we would do in our model, and let's solve it algebraically. So I'm going to make my little line down here. I'm saying I'm going to cross out 4 ones on both sides. So that means I'm going to take away 4 from both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0, and I'm left with 3 x's on the left. So if I were to watch my model, 1, 2, 3, 4, I took away 4 on the left. I'm going to take away 4 on the right. So I'm left with 9 on the right side and 3x. Now to create 3 equal groups, or divide by 3 on both sides, to get x is equal to 3. 3 ones is equal to 1x. Okay? Check your step and verify your solution. Now, we learned about this a little bit ago, to where we take what our answer is of 3. So x is equal to 3, and I'm going to plug 3 back in for every x I see. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. 3x plus 4 equals 13. And I'm going to plug in 3 for x. So I'm going to have 3 times 3 plus 4. And I want to know, does this equal 13? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. Add 4. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. To have 13 is equal to 13. And yes, that means we did our steps correctly. All right. Flip on over, and we're going to look over at the piggy and the coins. All right, so on the first page was a great example of what we are to do, and now we are going to create our equation. So I'm going to say that every piggy is equal to 1x. Okay, every piggy is equal to 1x. So on the left side of my equation, I have 2x, and how many pennies do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 5 pennies, and this is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pennies. Okay. All right. What would be your first step and why? Well, my first step here would be to subtract 5 coins from both sides. Okay, and why do I want to do this? I want to get piggies by themselves. Okay, my next step, once I've subtracted 5 from both sides, is to divide into 2 equal groups. Divide the remaining coins into 2 equal groups. All right, so let's solve this algebraically. So 2x plus 5 equals 17. So the first step I'm told is to subtract 5 from both sides. 5 minus 5 is 0. I'm left with 2x on the left. When I take away 5 coins, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left with 12 coins on the right. Then my next step is to divide into 2 equal groups. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I'm left with 1x, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So let's go ahead and go back and check this. Let's go in and check this here. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to rewrite my equation. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to write a 6. Plug 6 back into x, so 2 times 6 plus 5. I'm going to see if that equals 17. Well, 2 times 6 is 12 plus 5 more. And does this equal to 17? And it does. Okay, let's try the next one. It looks like I have a scale. Well, on the left side of my scale, I see that I have 6 ones, and this is equal to, well, look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, and then I have 2 ones. So 6 is equal to 4x plus 2. All right, what would my first step be and why? Well, my goal is to get x by itself. So my first step would be to subtract 2 from each side. My goal is to subtract 2 from each side. What would be your next step? Well, my next step after that would be to divide into 4 equal groups. Okay, and let's try this out. So I'm going to have 6 is equal to 4x plus 2. So I am told to subtract 2 from both sides. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Left with 4x is equal to, well, 6 minus 2 is 4. Now I'm told to divide by 4 on both sides into 4 equal groups to have x is equal to 1. To have x is equal to 1. Now I want to go back and check my answer, make sure I did the correct steps. So I'm going to have 6 is equal to 4x plus 2. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug a 1 in. So 6 is equal to 4 times 1 plus 2. Not 4 times, 4 times 1. And I'm going to have 6 is equal to 4 plus 2. Well, 4 plus 2 is 6. So I did my steps correctly. Okay, did my steps correctly. All right, on the back side, so I have 2 completely different problems here. Okay, so here is something new that we have. Okay, I have x bars and I have 1 bars. What do you notice about these ones right here? What is different about these ones compared to these ones? These ones have a negative in front of them, so they are a negative value to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and write this equation. So how many x's do you see? I see 3 x's. Okay, how many negative ones do you see? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9 negative ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say minus 9. I have 9 negative ones. Okay. Then I'm going to set this equal to, well, notice all of my ones here are negative. So I want to see how many negative ones do I see on the right side. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I see negative 18 ones. Okay. Okay. What would your first step be and why? So my first step, okay, my first step here is going to be this. It's going to be different. Is going to be to add 9 positive ones to both sides. Okay? Add 9 positive ones to both sides. Or, let's make this a little simpler. Okay. Actually, let me change the equation. 3x plus negative 9 equals negative 18. Nope. I want to leave it at what I got. Add 9 ones to both sides. Okay. And why am I doing this? And the reason for this is to cancel out the negative 9s from both sides. Okay. So think about it. You guys probably remember dealing with green chips and red chips. One red chip is a negative, one green chip is a positive. So if I were to add 9 positive ones here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I were to add 9 positives to this side, well, one negative and one positive, they cancel each other out. Then I have one cancel. Now I have these two cancel, 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 and these two cancel. So I ended up canceling out 9 negatives by adding 9 positives to this side. And if I add 9 positives to this side, I need to add 9 positives to this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. By adding 9 positives, I'm canceling out 9 negatives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and those cancel out. Okay. What would be your next step? Well, my next step is going to be the same thing as I would on this side, where I divide it into 4 equal groups. I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to divide into 3 equal groups. Okay, creating 3 equal groups of negative 1s. To see that I have negative 3 or 3 negatives equal 1x. All right, so let's solve this algebraically and follow our steps. So 3x minus 9 is equal to negative 18. Okay, my first step is to add 9 positives, positive 1s to both sides. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0, and I'm left with 3 x's on this side. Okay. Well, I have negative 18 and positive 9. I see that I have one negative, a positive, which means I'm really going to subtract. So 18 minus 9 is 9, and I have more negatives in the beginning, so my answer is negative 9. Okay. Step 2 is to divide into 3 equivalent or 3 equal groups. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. Now I'm left with x on one side is set equal to, well, a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, to get me negative 3 on both sides. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in and check my solution. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. 3x minus 9 equals negative 18. And everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug a negative 3 into it. So 3 times negative 3 minus 9 is equal to negative 18. All right. So positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9. So negative 9 minus 9 is equal to negative 18. Okay. Well, remember our keep, change, change. So I'm going to keep the first term, change subtraction to addition. Change the value of the second term to negative 9 is equal to 18. And look, I have negative 9 plus negative 9. So I'm at negative 9. I'm going further into the negatives, which is negative 18 should equal to, I dropped off my negative, should equal to negative 18. Okay. All right. And then the last one. Okay, the last one. My equation looks like this. N divided by 8 is equal to 5. Okay, I want to know what N is equal to. I am told that one shaded box is equal to 5. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 boxes, and each box is equivalent to 5. meaning how much do I have in all? Okay, so my first step to do is if I know that I have 5 is equal to this and there are 8 boxes total, what would we normally do to figure out how much there is in all? Well, I would take 5 and I would multiply it by 8. So my first step is to multiply 8 to both sides. Okay, and then let's watch what happens. So n over 8 equals 5. Okay, well, if I multiply by 8 over here and 8 over here, I want you to watch what happens. I'm going to do 8 over 1. Okay, and how do you multiply fractions? You're going to multiply straight across. So you're going to have 8n over 1 times 8 is 8. Well, take a look. 8 divided by 8, I can simplify this right here. That's left with 1n. So I'm left with n is equal to, well, 5 times 8 is 40. So n is going to equal to 40. Okay, and you can go back over here and check this one. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So the entire thing is equal to 40. All right, when going back in and checking this, it's going to be the same process as all of the others, where I'm going to plug in 40 for every n that I see. So 40 over 8, does this equal 5? Well, yes, 8 can go into 40, 5 equal times. 8 can go into 40, 5 equal times. If you guys have any questions, please let us know.